Hey everyone, welcome to our podcast where we dive into the ins and outs of the digital nomad lifestyle. I'm Sarah, and joining me today is Alex.
Hey, Sarah. Hey, everyone. Really excited to talk about this topic today. Being a digital nomad is such an incredible journey, but it definitely comes with its own set of challenges and rewards.
Absolutely, Alex. So let's kick things off with a bit about our backgrounds. How did you get started with the digital nomad lifestyle?
Great question. I was working a regular 9-to-5 job in marketing, but I always had this itch to travel. One day, I just decided to take the plunge. I saved up some money, quit my job, and started freelancing. The freedom to work from anywhere was life-changing. How about you, Sarah?
For me, it was a bit of a gradual transition. I was in software development, and my company allowed remote work. I started working from home, then realized I could do the same job from a beach in Thailand or a cafe in Paris. It was too tempting not to try.
That's awesome. So, for those listening who might be considering this lifestyle, what would you say are the key benefits?
Flexibility is definitely at the top of the list. You can set your own schedule, work from different time zones, and fit your work around your life, not the other way around. What about you, Alex?
I'd add the cultural experiences. You get to immerse yourself in different cultures, learn new languages, and meet incredible people from all over the world. It broadens your perspective in ways you can't imagine.
Absolutely. But of course, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. What are some of the biggest challenges you've faced?
For me, staying productive can be tough. When you're in a new place, it's easy to get distracted. Also, finding reliable internet can be a nightmare in some locations. How do you manage that?
I've definitely had my share of Wi-Fi woes. I always try to have a backup plan, like using mobile data or having a list of nearby places with good internet. Time management is another big one. You have to be disciplined about your work hours and not let travel take over completely.
That's solid advice. Another challenge is the sense of isolation. Moving around a lot means you might not have a stable social circle. How do you cope with that?
It can be lonely, for sure. I make it a point to join local communities and co-working spaces wherever I go. It's a great way to meet people and network. Plus, staying connected with friends and family back home is crucial.
Yeah, co-working spaces are fantastic for both productivity and social interaction. Speaking of productivity, what tools or strategies do you use to stay on track with your work?
I stick to a strict daily routine, regardless of where I am. I also use a timer to work in focused bursts with breaks in between. How about you?
I'm a big fan of to-do lists. I prioritize my tasks for the day and check them off as I go. It keeps me organized and gives me a sense of accomplishment. Also, I try to limit my work hours to avoid burnout.
That's smart. Burnout is a real risk when you're balancing work and travel. How do you maintain a healthy work-life balance?
I try to set clear boundaries. When I'm done with work for the day, I shut down my computer and shift my focus to exploring or relaxing. It's important to give yourself downtime.
Definitely. Let's talk about travel tips. What are some of your go-to strategies for traveling efficiently as a digital nomad?
I travel light. Minimalism is key. The less you have to lug around, the easier it is to move quickly and settle in. I also plan my travel days around my work schedule to minimize disruptions. How do you handle travel logistics?
I agree with traveling light. I also make sure to research my destinations thoroughly. Knowing where you're going to stay, work, and eat in advance saves a lot of time and stress. Speaking of destinations, what are some of your favorite places to work from?
That's a tough one. I loved Bali for its vibrant community and beautiful scenery. Lisbon is also amazing with its culture and great internet. How about you?
For me, Chiang Mai in Thailand is fantastic. It's affordable, has a great digital nomad community, and there are plenty of co-working spaces. I also enjoyed Barcelona for its mix of city life and beaches.
Those are great choices. Now let's touch on finances. How do you manage your budget as a digital nomad?
I keep a close eye on my expenses and use budgeting techniques to track my spending. It's important to have a financial cushion for emergencies. How do you handle it?
Same here. I also try to earn in stronger currencies and spend in weaker ones to stretch my money further. And always have travel insurance. It's a lifesaver.
Insurance is a must. Now, for those just starting out, what advice would you give?
Start small. Try working remotely from a nearby location before committing to full-time travel. Build a reliable income stream first. And don't be afraid to reach out to other digital nomads for advice.
Great advice. And I'd add, be patient with yourself. It takes time to find your rhythm and balance. Enjoy the journey and learn from every experience.
Absolutely. Well, that's all the time we have for today. Thanks for joining us, everyone. We hope you found our tips helpful.
So, Alex, we've covered quite a lot about the digital nomad lifestyle, but let's dig a bit deeper into some of the practical aspects. For instance, what's your take on finding accommodation as a digital nomad?
That's a big one, Sarah. Finding the right place to stay is crucial for both comfort and productivity. I usually start with short-term rentals when I first arrive at a new place. It gives me the flexibility to explore different neighborhoods before committing to a longer stay. What about you?
I do something similar. I like to book a place for a week or two initially, then look for longer-term options once I get a feel for the area. Safety, internet speed, and proximity to amenities are my top priorities. Have you ever had any interesting experiences with accommodations?
Oh, plenty. I once stayed in a tiny apartment in Tokyo that was so compact, I could touch both walls at the same time. It was an interesting experience, but I quickly moved to a more spacious place. How about you? Any memorable stays?
Definitely. I once booked a place in a rural part of Vietnam, thinking it would be a quiet retreat. Turns out it was a rooster's territory, and they crowed at the crack of dawn every day. Lesson learned. Now I always read reviews carefully.
Reviews are lifesavers, indeed. Speaking of reviews and planning, how do you deal with the visa situation? It can be quite a hassle for digital nomads.
Visas can be tricky. I always research visa requirements before choosing a destination. Some countries offer digital nomad visas, which are fantastic. For others, I rely on tourist visas and make sure to comply with the duration limits. How do you handle it?
Similar approach. I also keep a list of countries with visa-free or easy visa policies for my passport, and it's essential to have a plan for visa runs if needed. Staying informed about immigration laws is crucial to avoid any issues.
Absolutely. Another important aspect is health and wellness. How do you stay healthy while constantly on the move?
Staying healthy is a priority. I make sure to exercise regularly, whether it's through local gyms, yoga classes, or just walking and exploring the city. Eating balanced meals can be a challenge, but I try to cook when possible and opt for local, fresh food. What's your strategy?
I'm with you on that. I also try to maintain a regular sleep schedule despite changing time zones. Staying hydrated and taking vitamins helps too. And I always carry a basic first aid kit and necessary medications.
Good tips, Sarah. Now let's talk about the social aspect. How do you build and maintain relationships while living a nomadic life?
It's definitely challenging, but technology helps a lot. Regular video calls with family and friends keep me connected. Making new friends on the road is also important. I attend meetups, join local groups, and try to be social. What about you?
I do the same. Being proactive about meeting new people is key. I also stay in touch with fellow digital nomads I've met along the way. It's a tight-knit community, and those connections can be very supportive.
That's true. The digital nomad community is amazing. Speaking of community, have you ever participated in any work retreats or co-living experiences?
Yes, I have. Work retreats are fantastic for networking and collaboration. Co-living spaces are great too, because they offer a balance of privacy and social interaction. Have you tried any?
I've done a few work retreats, and they were incredibly productive. It's nice to be surrounded by like-minded people who understand the lifestyle. Co-living spaces are great for building a sense of community while having your own space to work.
Absolutely. It's a great way to find a balance. Before we wrap up, Do you have any final tips or thoughts for aspiring digital nomads?
I'd say, don't be afraid to take the leap, but do your research and plan ahead. Be adaptable and open to new experiences. And most importantly, enjoy the journey. What about you, Alex?
I'd echo that. Embrace the unknown and be flexible. The digital nomad lifestyle is incredibly rewarding if you're willing to put in the effort. Safe travels, everyone.
Some common questions and answers related to the digital nomad lifestyle.
What is a digital nomad?
A digital nomad is someone who leverages technology to work remotely while traveling. This lifestyle allows individuals to live and work in different locations around the world, often without a permanent home base.
What types of jobs are suitable for a digital nomad lifestyle?
Jobs that can be done remotely and primarily online are suitable for digital nomads. These include roles in fields like software development, graphic design, writing, marketing, consulting, virtual assistants, and many others.
How do digital nomads find accommodation while traveling?
Digital nomads use a variety of methods to find accommodation, including renting apartments, staying in co-living spaces, hostels, or short-term rentals. They often rely on local listings, recommendations from other nomads, and booking platforms.
How do you stay productive while traveling as a digital nomad?
Staying productive involves creating a structured work routine, finding reliable workspaces, minimizing distractions, and setting clear goals. Techniques like time blocking and the Pomodoro method can also help maintain productivity.
How do you manage work-life balance as a digital nomad?
Managing work-life balance involves setting clear boundaries between work and leisure time, scheduling work hours, taking regular breaks, and making time for exploration and relaxation. Planning ahead and being adaptable are key.
What are the biggest challenges of the digital nomad lifestyle?
Some of the biggest challenges include dealing with isolation, finding reliable internet, managing time zones, staying productive, and maintaining a healthy work-life balance. Navigating visa regulations and healthcare can also be challenging.
How do digital nomads handle healthcare while traveling?
Digital nomads typically purchase international health insurance to cover medical expenses while traveling. It's important to research and choose a plan that covers a wide range of locations and provides adequate coverage.
How do you stay connected with family and friends while traveling?
Staying connected involves using video calls, social media, and messaging apps to regularly check in with family and friends. Setting up regular virtual catch-ups and sharing updates through blogs or social media helps bridge the distance.
How do digital nomads deal with isolation?
To combat isolation, digital nomads join local meetups, co-working spaces, and social events. They stay connected with other nomads and locals, volunteer, take classes, and maintain regular communication with their support networks back home.
What are some tips for making new friends as a digital nomad?
Making new friends involves being proactive in joining local events, meetups, and activities. Staying in social accommodations like hostels or co-living spaces, joining interest groups, and using social media to connect with others can help build a network.
How do digital nomads handle different time zones when working with clients or teams?
Digital nomads handle time zones by using world clock tools to keep track of different time zones and scheduling meetings at mutually convenient times. Clear communication and setting expectations with clients and teams are essential.
What is the best way to find reliable internet while traveling?
Finding reliable internet involves researching accommodation options that offer high-speed internet, using co-working spaces, cafes with good Wi-Fi, and having backup plans like mobile hotspots or portable Wi-Fi devices.
How do digital nomads manage their finances while traveling?
Managing finances involves budgeting, using online banking, keeping track of expenses, and being mindful of currency exchange rates. Many digital nomads use financial management tools to keep their finances organized.
What are the benefits of the digital nomad lifestyle?
The benefits include the freedom to travel and explore new places, flexibility in work schedules, exposure to diverse cultures, and the opportunity to build a global network. It allows for a unique work-life balance and personal growth.
How do you choose your next destination as a digital nomad?
Choosing the next destination involves considering factors like cost of living, internet reliability, safety, visa requirements, and the local community. Many digital nomads seek recommendations from other nomads and research destinations thoroughly.
What should you pack as a digital nomad?
Packing essentials include a reliable laptop, chargers, travel adapters, comfortable clothing, necessary documents, and any specific work-related equipment. It's also important to pack items that support your lifestyle, like fitness gear or hobbies.
How do you maintain a healthy lifestyle while traveling?
Maintaining a healthy lifestyle involves regular exercise, eating balanced meals, staying hydrated, and getting enough sleep. Finding local fitness classes, joining gyms, and exploring outdoor activities can help stay active.
How do digital nomads handle mail and packages while traveling?
Handling mail and packages involves using mail forwarding services, having items sent to local friends or co-working spaces, and relying on digital versions of important documents. Planning ahead and minimizing physical mail can also help.
What are some common misconceptions about the digital nomad lifestyle?
Common misconceptions include the idea that digital nomads are always on vacation, that the lifestyle is easy and stress-free, and that it's a permanent solution for everyone. In reality, it involves hard work, careful planning, and constant adaptation.
How do you stay motivated as a digital nomad?
Staying motivated involves setting personal and professional goals, maintaining a routine, staying connected with a support network, and finding inspiration from new experiences. Regular self-reflection and celebrating achievements also help maintain motivation.
You know, Alex, I was thinking about the importance of setting up a good workspace while traveling. What's your approach to creating a productive work environment on the road?
That's a great topic, Sarah. For me, having a comfortable and ergonomic setup is crucial. I always carry a portable laptop stand and a foldable keyboard. These little things make a big difference in maintaining good posture and avoiding strain. What's in your travel kit?
I have a similar setup. I also carry noise-canceling headphones, which are a lifesaver in noisy environments. A good mouse and an external hard drive for backups are must-haves too. How do you choose the right place to work each day?
It depends on the location. I usually scout out a few potential spots like cafes or co-working spaces. I look for places with good lighting, comfortable seating, and a quiet atmosphere. And of course, reliable internet. What about you?
I do the same. I also like to have a backup spot in case my first choice doesn't work out. Sometimes, a quiet corner in a library can be perfect. Flexibility is key. Have you ever had any particularly challenging work environments?
Oh, definitely. I once tried to work from a beach, thinking it would be idyllic. But the sun glare, sand, and lack of stable internet made it impossible. Now I stick to more practical locations. Any interesting stories from your travels?
I had a similar experience trying to work from a park. It was beautiful, but the wind kept blowing my papers around, and the Wi-Fi was spotty. It's important to balance the desire for scenic locations with practical work needs.
Exactly. It's all about finding the right balance. Speaking of balance, how do you manage to explore new places without compromising your work?
I like to schedule my work hours in the early morning or late evening, leaving the middle of the day free for exploration. It allows me to make the most of my time in new places. How do you balance work and travel?
I'm a fan of working in chunks. I'll dedicate a few days to intense work, then take a day or two off to explore. This way, I don't feel guilty about taking time off and can fully enjoy my surroundings.
That's a great strategy. Let's also touch on dealing with different time zones. How do you handle working with clients or teams spread across the globe?
Time zones can be tricky. I always communicate clearly with my clients about my availability and try to find overlapping hours that work for both parties. Sometimes I adjust my schedule temporarily to accommodate important meetings. How do you manage it?
I do the same. I also use a world clock tool to keep track of different time zones. Planning and clear communication are key. It's important to set expectations with clients and team members.
Absolutely. And what about maintaining your skills and continuing to learn while on the move? How do you keep up with professional development?
I dedicate some time each week to learning, whether it's through online courses, reading industry blogs, or attending webinars. Staying updated is crucial. How do you keep your skills sharp?
I'm the same. I also try to attend local workshops or meetups when possible. It's a great way to learn and network at the same time. Lifelong learning is important, especially in a rapidly changing world.
Definitely. Continuous learning keeps us competitive and adaptable. Any last thoughts on thriving as a digital nomad?
Just to stay curious and open-minded, embrace the challenges and learn from them. The digital nomad lifestyle is a journey of growth and discovery.
Hey, Alex, I've been thinking about something. How do you handle personal development and staying motivated while living the digital nomad life?
That's a great question, Sarah. Personal development is really important, and it can be easy to lose track of it with the constant movement. I set personal goals for myself, both short-term and long-term, and make sure to review them regularly. What about you?
I do something similar. I set quarterly goals and break them down into monthly and weekly tasks. It helps me stay focused and motivated. I also make time for reflection and meditation to keep my mind centered. How do you stay motivated, especially during tough times?
Motivation can definitely wane, especially when things get challenging. I find that taking a step back and reminding myself why I chose this lifestyle helps. Connecting with other digital nomads and sharing experiences also provides a boost. How do you handle it?
I agree. Community support is invaluable. I also find that maintaining a routine, even a loose one, helps keep me on track. And celebrating small wins along the way keeps me motivated. What's your approach to continuous learning and skill enhancement?
I'm a big believer in lifelong learning. I allocate time each week to read books, take online courses, or learn a new language. It's important to keep evolving and adapting. How do you ensure you're always growing?
I follow a similar routine. I also seek out mentors and peers who can challenge me and provide new perspectives. Staying curious and open to new ideas is crucial. How do you find balance between work, travel, and personal growth?
Finding balance is an ongoing process. I try to integrate my personal growth activities into my daily routine so they don't feel like an extra burden. Scheduling downtime and being mindful of my limits also helps. How do you maintain your balance?
I prioritize and set clear boundaries between work and personal time. It's easy to blur the lines, but having distinct periods for work, exploration, and self-care is essential. How do you deal with burnout, if it ever hits you?
Burnout can be a real issue. When I feel it creeping in, I take a break, no matter how small. A change of scenery or a short vacation helps. I also practice mindfulness and ensure I'm not overloading myself. How do you handle it?
I listen to my body and mind. When I feel overwhelmed, I take a step back and reassess my workload. Delegating tasks and taking regular breaks are key. It's important to remember that our well-being comes first. Any final thoughts on staying motivated and growing as a digital nomad?
Just to keep challenging yourself and stay connected with your community. The digital nomad life is a constant journey of self-discovery and growth. Embrace it fully and enjoy the ride.
Welcome back to the podcast, everyone. Today we're going to tackle a topic that many digital nomads face, dealing with isolation. I'm Sarah, and joining me as always is Alex.
Hey Sarah, hey everyone. Isolation can be one of the biggest challenges of the digital nomad lifestyle. The constant moving, new environments, and lack of a stable social circle can really take a toll. Let's dive into how we can manage it.
Absolutely, Alex. To start, let's talk about why isolation is such a common issue for digital nomads. What do you think are the main reasons?
I believe it's a combination of factors. First, the nature of the lifestyle means we're constantly on the move, making it hard to build long-lasting relationships. Second, working remotely can be lonely, especially if you're in a new place with no familiar faces. How about you, Sarah?
I agree. The lack of a fixed home base means you miss out on the daily interactions you'd have in an office or a neighborhood. Plus, adapting to new cultures and environments can be overwhelming. It's easy to feel like you're on your own. How do you usually cope with these feelings?
I try to stay proactive about meeting new people. Joining local events, co-working spaces, or social gatherings helps a lot. I also make an effort to maintain regular contact with friends and family back home. What's your approach, Sarah?
I do the same. I make a point of checking out local meetups or expat groups. It's amazing how quickly you can find like-minded people in any part of the world. Staying connected with friends and family through calls or video chats also keeps me grounded. Do you have any specific strategies for making new friends on the road?
One thing that's worked for me is attending networking events or joining community activities. It's a great way to meet people who share similar interests. I also use social media and online forums to connect with fellow travelers and locals. How do you find and connect with people, Sarah?
I've found that staying in co-living spaces or hostels with communal areas is great for meeting people. You're often surrounded by fellow travelers, and it's easy to strike up a conversation. I also use local apps and community boards to find events and gatherings. It's all about putting yourself out there.
That's a great tip. I've also started volunteering or taking short courses in new places. It's a fantastic way to meet locals and other travelers while doing something meaningful. Have you tried that, Sarah?
Yes, volunteering has been amazing. It not only helps with isolation, but also allows you to give back to the community you're visiting. Plus, it's a great way to learn new skills and meet people who are passionate about the same causes. What about building a sense of community while traveling?
Building a sense of community is crucial. I try to stay in places with a strong community vibe, like co-living spaces or hostels with social activities. It helps to have a routine, even if it's just a regular coffee spot where you know the baristas and other regulars. How do you create your own sense of home on the road?
I find that personalizing my space, even if it's just a small room or a shared dorm, makes a big difference. Bringing a few familiar items from home, like photos or a favorite mug, helps me feel more at home. I also try to create a routine that includes activities I enjoy, whether it's a morning run or reading a book in a cafe.
That's a great idea. I also try to establish small rituals, like having a favorite drink at a local cafe or visiting a specific spot each week. It adds a touch of familiarity to my day. How do you handle the emotional aspect of isolation?
It's definitely challenging. I make sure to take time for self-care, whether it's through meditation, journaling, or simply taking a walk. Connecting with a support network, even online, helps too. It's important to talk about how you're feeling and not bottle things up.
I agree. Regular check-ins with friends and family, and even with fellow digital nomads, can make a big difference. Sharing experiences and challenges helps you feel less alone. Have you found any particular activities or hobbies that help you cope with loneliness?
Absolutely. I've started picking up new hobbies like photography or cooking local dishes. These activities not only keep me busy, but also give me something to share with new friends. Joining local clubs or groups for activities like hiking or language exchange has also been great. How about you?
I've taken up painting and joined local art classes. It's a wonderful way to meet people and express myself creatively. I also enjoy joining local sports teams or fitness classes. It's a great way to stay active and make friends at the same time. How do you handle those days when you just feel overwhelmed?
On those days, I give myself permission to take a break. Whether it's watching a movie, going for a long walk, or simply resting, it's important to listen to your body and mind. Talking to a friend or a fellow traveler can also lift my spirits. How do you recharge when you're feeling drained?
I often retreat to a quiet spot, whether it's a park, a beach, or just a cozy cafe. Reading a book or simply meditating helps me reset. Connecting with nature has also been incredibly rejuvenating. Do you have any go-to places or activities that help you unwind?
I love exploring nature trails or finding a serene spot by the water. Sometimes, just sitting by the sea or hiking in the mountains is enough to clear my mind. I also enjoy watching the sunset or stargazing. It's amazing how these simple things can be so refreshing. Any last tips for dealing with isolation, Alex?
Just remember, it's okay to feel lonely sometimes. Reach out, stay connected, and don't be afraid to take time for yourself. Building connections and finding your community takes time, so be patient and kind to yourself.
Absolutely, Alex. Thanks for the insightful conversation, and thank you to our listeners for joining us today. We hope you found some helpful tips to combat isolation while living the digital nomad lifestyle.
Until next time, stay connected, take care of yourselves, and keep exploring.
Take care and happy travels, everyone.